Hey everybody, Chris here. In this video, I'm going to be giving you my November price prediction for Dogecoin. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when my new videos come out as well as when I do live streams. Well, October ended up not being very up, right? We all know that. Nobody predicted the US government shutdown was still going to be going on. Back on October 1st, we were all bullish. All the history shows October one of the most profitable months in history for cryptocurrencies, and we ended up red. Not only Doge, Bitcoin, ETH, and most all cryptos were red for the month of October. A lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, yes, FUD, throughout the crypto market, not only with the government shutdown, but then we had the big manipulated flash crash of October 10th. A little bit of recovery from that, and then everything has just been sideways. You guys are sick of seeing my purple boxes, but of course, I will show that as well because they are still around. What does this mean for November, and where will prices go from here? Let's get into it. Let me show you the charts and the news. I'll show you what I'm looking at. We start here looking at the current Dogecoin price. Is 1869. That's right, 1869 for Dogecoin here on the morning of November 1st. Kind of a very lackluster end to the month of October. We were hoping we would at least be over 19 cents. Well, we're close, but 1869 is where we start. And for those who have not been watching my channel, I have these purple boxes just to show since the big flash crash that we had back here on October 10th, the recovery back up and sideways trading. And that's pretty much what everything has been doing. Bitcoin is $110,000. Also sideways trading. ETH, Algorand, Solana, Cardano. We did have HBAR come up over outside of the purple box with its ETF launch. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But even SHIB dipped below, Litecoin still in the box, VeChain dipped below, trying to get back in. XRP was up near the top here for a little bit, but came back. So, I mean, that's the story, right? The purple boxes, some below, some still in. But overall, for most of my watch list, for all of these cryptos, it has just been sideways trading for 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks now. Volume has ticked down, right? There's no volume, no. I made my video yesterday of like, where's all the money going to come from? Because right now, retail is all chasing tech stocks, and they're gambling on FanDuel and DraftKings, and they're doing all of that. Bitcoin dominance still below 60%, but it's also going sideways too. So I made a purple box for the Bitcoin dominance as well. We've got the Doge Bitcoin trading pair even in a purple box going sideways. They're all doing the same thing. So that's how we begin the month of November. The big thing is Polymarket. Like, when's the government shutdown going to end? Right now, November 27th, like 26, that's almost the whole month, right? Only 1% of bettors think that on November 3rd, which is the next vote, that they're going to vote to open up the government. Only 1% believes that. The bettors are all November 16th plus, right? It's about half the bettors are over that date, and the consensus seems to be the whole month. That doesn't sound good. That sounds like a pretty crappy November to me, if that's going to continue on. Because do you know why? Especially for Dogecoin, one of the things I was planning on, right, was the middle of October, we were going to get the Dogecoin ETFs, right? Like Grayscale, that's big, 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 right? And that was behind a lot of my thinking in October was Dogecoin ETFs, the money coming in, right? Dogecoin being bought to support all of that. You know, we had the Rex Osprey one before, but that's like B level. That's not Grayscale. Grayscale's huge. We saw what happened to Hedera, right? But Hedera's, I mean, it was a little bit of a pump. For Dogecoin, I think that would be bigger, and we just didn't get it because of this. And this could put a damper on the whole month of November. So unfortunately, folks, for my November price prediction, I'm going to give you two. I'm going to give you two. One with the government shutdown and one without. Because if we go the whole month with the government shutdown, there's just not going to be a lot of interest. And I know worldwide, you guys are all looking at us in the United States like, what are you guys doing? I get that, right? I get that. Look, Kook says, hey, we're almost there. It's like, I love this. It's like weak ass hands, right? Generational wealth, and are you going to blow it? Are you going to blow it? Because we look at zoom out and you look at the big picture of crypto, and over time, it's done nothing but go up. Unless you're in, of course, the wrong things, right? Don't do that. But Dogecoin is still a top 10 crypto. And in fact, here it is, still number 8, right? It's still a eighth largest cryptocurrency. And all I hear, Doge is dead. Doge, well, not for you guys. A lot of you guys are like holding on, just seeing what's going to happen. But Doge is still right there. $28 billion market cap for Dogecoin. And it's holding very well, despite the negativity that's out there. Talk a lot about gold. What's going on with gold, right? Gold stocks have been trading up, and a lot of these guys are like, look, the rotation is going to happen. Gold into Bitcoin. This is an 80-day offset on Colin's chart here, and he's like, this is what happens. Bitcoin will go up eventually as we see that rotation back into crypto. But right now, it's chasing NVIDIA, right, and the other stocks, and not Bitcoin yet. So the interest isn't there yet. However, Gel says, look, pullbacks are part of the game. The trend remains firmly intact. Higher by Christmas, let's roll, as we have the support band on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has bounced off it, a number of times over the past few years, and here we are again at another one of these points where, we hit the bull market support band, bounce off, right? Another pullback, fear in the market, I get that. But the overall view is still up, not back down. Now, Bitcoin seasonality, as we're talking about November, we looked at this yesterday and it was just like 46% for November, right? That's where we are now. Of course, October was supposed to be 19.8% green. It ended up red. This is for Bitcoin. September was supposed to be red. It was green. Right? June was supposed to be red. It was green. So we got a little opposite playing here. That doesn't look good for November, right? That doesn't look good. But here we are with the Bitcoin monthly, and there it is. June was green. September was green. October, red. But the previous 7 Octobers for Bitcoin were all green, including through the bear market. We even had green Octobers. But here's the November. Now, that big huge spike, right, that was there on the November, right, 46%. A lot of that was because back in 2013, here, Bitcoin went up 449%. So you kind of have to disregard that, right? That's just like in the early days of Bitcoin, it just went crazy. So you look at the median. This median line here, 8.8%, right? But we were supposed to have October up 14 and ended up down, where September was historically down and it was up in the green. So we don't really get a lot of information from that. We look at Dogecoin. Dogecoin ended up October down 20%. It was a tough month for Doge. But again, in the end, right, the last 3 weeks were all sideways. It was just completely sideways. And we look at the history of November's. Of course, last year, 161% green. We like that, right? Let's do that again. But there's no election and there's no Elon, right, coming in, grabbing all the headlines with Doge and all of that. But there could always be something. And that's what I'm going to talk about in just a minute. So November's actually kind of mixed for Dogecoin between red and green. So we're not going to get any cues here from the history. So will Dogecoin's price rebound in November? That's what we're here to talk about. Is it over for Dogecoin in 2025? Are we going into a bear market? Or are we just going to go sideways? Or are we going to go up and have a big run? And what's going to happen through the rest of 2025 into 2026? We talk a lot about super cycle, extended cycle, like all of this stuff is going on. So make sure you're subscribed. You got your notifications on as we follow along as to what is going on with Doge going forward. Right now, though, the fear and greed index is just ticked into the fear range. It's at the higher end of fear, but it's still fear right now. And I get it, right? the uncertainty in the market has just been, it's been tough, right? For 3 weeks, we've been just dead sideways. Ali's saying, look, this is us just hitting another higher low, right? Which I show on my charts as well, a higher low, and that through the month of November, we could see a bounce up. With good news, we could be back up into the 30-cent range. So 18 cents, crucial support for Doge, which I have on my chart. That's the bottom of my purple box. Hold it, and we move to 26 or even 33 cents in that range as Dogecoin trades up. So what does the price predictor say? Changelly says, look, right now we're going sideways, and at least for another week, Changelly thinks we're going to be sideways again. But the overall market is still bearish. What happens when you have a bearish market is a buying opportunity, buy on the dips, right? And how is the month going to trade? Well, Changelly, through their system, thinks that we're going to be rather bearish here for the first week of November, maybe touch back, down at 17.9. So another buying opportunity could be coming up. And there's just not a lot of movement. We could stay around the upper 17s. But eventually, we're going to get a break. And we're going to see 19, 20, and even higher, 21, and maybe up to 23 cents near the last week of November with some good news, like the government shutdown ending. That would be great, right? We see some good positive moves, and we see 22, 23 cent range for Dogecoin. This is very reasonable based on where we stand right now. But right now, they're buys, right? Buy in November, buy in December, buy in January, because they think, like I do, we are now moving into an extended cycle, and that for November, December, and January, Dogecoin is still a buy if we sort of follow along. Now, what might change that, right? What might change that? Well, CoinCodex is thinking also into November, we're going to tend to be sideways as well with, dip back down, 18.2, 18.1. And as we go through, bearish as well on the technical analysis side. I get it, right? A lot of that is based on the fear and greed index, right? Which is fear. But as we look through the month of November, we might get later on a pump that could lead later in November, say around the 24th, 25th, we could have Doge 23.6 cents, and we could have this RSI come back up into the red, which means it could get overbought, and we could have a little fallback at the end of November there. So that's all reasonable, and that would be right, just government shutdown, straight trading. Nothing huge. Are we going to get the ETFs, right? Could that pump be the ETF pump right there? Government shutdown ends. We get the Doge ETF. We get a pump. 23 cents, is that, it's a lot better than 18, 19, that's for sure. But that might be it. What's the wild card, though? Again, this was the article that we looked at the beginning of 2025, back here on January 2nd, 2025. Elon Musk to launch X money payment system in 2025. This was the big news at the start of the year, which is why I'm still bullish on Dogecoin, because I think this is still going to happen. We know Elon is not the best when it comes to schedules, right, to meeting timelines. But we have heard it's in a test net, beta, whatever. So is this going to launch? This is the story that I think will cause Dogecoin to have the next pump. Will that be in November? We don't know. But I will give a second price prediction if this happens. So not 23 cents, but 33 to 35, which was my October, right? October price prediction is now shifting to November if this happens. So if people, Chris is like predicting 35-cent Doge again, it's conditional, right? That's how Dogecoin trades. It trades on catalysts. And when there's a big hype catalyst thing, particularly with this guy, right, Mr. Musk, right, this is a big thing. And many think that Elon is just waiting, right? He's lurking around Dogecoin, right? Giving little hints here and there about Doge. And even though X money would launch and Dogecoin wouldn't be on it, right? Because it's going to start fiat only, not Dogecoin. Just the thought, just the hint that maybe Dogecoin will be part of it in the future is enough for Dogecoin's price to escalate. So, yes, fear and greed, 36. That's where we are when we start. Trader Allen says, look, based on the RSI, right? The RSI is coming down into oversold right now while the price dips down, but it's still, again, it's higher lows. It's higher lows when you zoom out on the Doge chart, and this is the potential Dogecoin has with a big catalyst, right? Something that will cause Doge to run like it has before. November 2024, we had February 2024, big runs, and that is the potential Dogecoin has. So that's what I have. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? What is your Dogecoin price prediction for the end of November? And what do you think of right now about extended cycles? Or are you just a bear and you think Doge is dead and going to... Let me know in the comments below. Give the video a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.